All right, it is Cinco de Mayo, so I figured I would make a quick video of my favorite Cinco de Mayo memory. Rewind to, I believe, 2006, maybe 2007, I don't remember. Somewhere around there. It is Cinco de Mayo, and Provo City uh, they close off Center Street and they have a big party on Center Street. On one end of the street, they have live band, and on the other end of the street, they asked my buddy's skate shop, the Decline Board Shop, to put on some live entertainment skateboarding, basically put on a show for the crowd. So I talked my buddy Bryce Christensen into coming with me. I don't remember which of us drove. He might have driven at the time, thinking back to that time period. Bryce had never been to an event like this, and so I had been to a couple of these events with the Decline, so I knew what to expect, but Bryce had never done anything like this before, so this was his first time. So Bryce and I get there. Again, it's Provo Center Street. There's no traffic. It's just people everywhere. And we've got this ramp that it had to have been at least 4.5 feet tall. It was pretty tall. Dudes had jumped Honda Civics with it. So we get there and I see the jump set up, and everybody's watching the skaters and the live band on the other end of the street. And so I was like, okay, I gotta go big. No warm up, nothing. I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna go straight into it, and I'm gonna do the biggest trick I can. First go. I want to impress this crowd. So I go burning into it fast as I can. Got to build speed. It's a big jump. And all I remember is I hit the jump, and I remember seeing the sky and feeling my feet floating with the board gone. And it ends up I had done this. Instead of going off the ramp like you normally would, I just went yeet and went perfectly flat. So I float through the air and I slam. Butt cheeks first, butt, and then back, just slam into the ground. I hit so hard that it was straight from floating through the air to lights out. Just boom, slam, hit butt, back, head, hit the ground, knocked the wind out of myself. I remember standing up. I can't breathe. I'm standing, I guess, doing the I'm focused on trying to get my breath back. As I'm doing that, I'm bent over like this. I look up, and the first thing I see is Bryce standing there. And his face, he's just looking at me. And I'm barely getting my hearing back, and I just hear him say, "Why did you do that? Why did you do that?" And I was like, sitting there, I didn't do it on purpose. And right around that time, my ears stop ringing, and I realize I don't hear anything. I don't hear any crowd. I don't hear any live music. It's just silence. And I was like, this is kind of weird. So I look over to look at the band, and everybody's just staring at me. Mouths dropped, just staring at me. And that's right then the lead singer of the band goes, "Hey man, that looked really bad. Are you okay?" Mind you, I'm still having a hard time breathing, but I'm embarrassed. And here I have Bryce, who's also embarrassed to even be there with me. And so I turn, I give him a thumbs up and just wave. And I bend over very painfully, pick up my skateboard, and I walk off all slow like this, hunched over, get next to Bryce. And Bryce asks, "Hey, are you going to go again and redeem yourself? You look like a fool right now." And I was like, "Dude, I can't. I don't even think I can walk right now." I was like, "Are you going to go?" And he's like, "No, I'm not going after that. That was embarrassing." And I was like, "We should probably go then." So we get in the car, drive home. And on the car ride home, Bryce is telling me how embarrassing it was to be there with me, and that I would, in front of all these people, mess up so badly and all this stuff. It was awesome. But that's not the end of the story. So I ended up tearing a blood vessel in my right butt cheek and bled internally. And then I also injured my back. I don't know what I did to my back. I just know that if I did this, if I went from upright to about bending over to about this point, it would knock the wind out of me. So all it took was this, and I would... And so I'd have to stand back up. If I ever dropped anything, I'd have to carefully stay standing straight up, duck down, pick it up, stand back up. Otherwise, it would knock the wind out of me. However, the internal bleeding on my butt cheek made it so that, let me see if I can adjust this down just a little so you can see from about right here all the way up to here, that whole quadrant of my body went completely black. Completely black. Not purple, not blue, not yellowish bruising, black. And so I have this whole quadrant of my body that's black. And so I took full advantage and spent about 3 weeks. I would walk up to people and I would say, hey, you want to see something crazy? And I would drop my pants. And they would every time go like this. Oh! And then they'd get a little closer. They'd zoom in with their eyes and they'd look and say, whoa, what happened? I showed adults, I showed peers, I showed everyone, and every reaction was the same. It was always, oh, what happened? A lot of people would lean forward and get really close and say, oh man, did it die? Other people would get really close and say, can I poke that? They would poke my butt cheek, and I didn't feel it. Didn't hurt at all for the first couple weeks. People would poke it, and I don't know what they felt, but they would poke it and be like, can you feel that? No, I don't feel a thing right now. So, my favorite Cinco de Mayo story is the time I wrecked on my skateboard in front of a whole crowd of people and then caused my butt cheek to turn black so that I could show people, even in public. Not once did I get in trouble. I showed teachers at school. I showed everyone I possibly could, and every single person reacted the same with a, huh! What? So that is my favorite Cinco de Mayo story. Unfortunately, this was back before cameras were what they are today. So all I have from it is a flip phone picture from about a month after the injury. It's a little teeny tiny pixelated picture. Hopefully I can find it. But yeah, that's my favorite Cinco de Mayo story. I hope you enjoyed it.